We're going to return to the Psalms now for the rest of the week, looking at Psalm 120 on down. You'll notice that we have in Psalm 120 to 134, we have a collection of Psalms known as the Psalms of Ascent. So at the top of the title of each of these Psalms, from 120 to 134, you'll see that in the superscription there. And so these are Psalms. They're very unique. Remember, the Psalms were not only the prayer book of the people of Israel, but also their song book, their hymn book. And so they were praying these types of Psalms, but they were also singing them. So as they traveled along, they were singing these Psalms. Now the Psalms cover every type of situation and emotion imaginable, and that's why we love them so. Every emotion that you can think of, whether it's delight and joy and sorrow and heartache and loneliness and distress and so forth, is found in the Psalms. These particular Psalms, this collection of Psalms, these 15 Psalms, are not unique in that. What's the uniqueness of these Psalms is this, that they are being sung as the people are headed up to Jerusalem. Now recall, and you've been reading the book of Leviticus with us, so you should be up to speed. We have found that there are 7 different feasts that the people of Israel were to keep every year. And 3 of them were major feasts in which the able-bodied males were to attend, if at all possible, every year. And they would live throughout the area, throughout the Promised Land, and they were to head up now to where the tabernacle was, and by this time Jerusalem. And so they were traveling from wherever they lived to get to Jerusalem 3 times a year. And as they traveled in their caravans, they would usually not travel alone. They would have groups of people. As they traveled up to the feast, they would sing these songs together. Now, we probably all have done that when we are at some traveling somewhere. Maybe we're in a church van or something, and we're singing some songs that mean something to us. That's an enjoyable time, and that's what the psalmists do here as well. So they're headed up there. The 3 major feasts are the feast of ingathering, or the Passover. The Passover is at the end of that particular feast. Then we have the Feast of Booths, which was a celebration of how they had lived during the time of wilderness travel, and they were to celebrate that every year to remind themselves of what they had done and had been through. And then finally the Feast of Weeks, or Pentecost, which is 50 days after Passover. Those are the 3 biggies, and they would go each year to those. And as they did, they would travel and they'd be singing these particular psalms. The psalms all point to the longing for God, how much they longed for Him, how much they appreciated and enjoyed Him. And the first one, Psalm 120, kind of brings that to the fore right off the bat. And he says, "In my trouble I cried to the Lord, and He answered me." So we have the psalmist traveling, and he's got some troubles. He's got some issues that he's facing. We'll look at that more tomorrow in Psalm 121. But remember, he's living not in Jerusalem, but other places. In verse 5, he says, "Woe is me, for I sojourn in Meshach, and I dwell among the tents of Kedar." Or Kedar. This is, that is, he didn't live in Jerusalem. He lived somewhere else, somewhere remotely. And so he had to travel from those locations up to Jerusalem. And unfortunately, verses 6 and 7 tell us he's living among a people that don't appreciate him. As a matter of fact, they hate peace and they love war, even though he's for peace. So he's living among a very rough group of people who didn't walk with God. And so as he heads to Jerusalem towards these feasts, he is praying for the Lord to answer him and to rescue him, as he says in verse 1. He wants peace. He doesn't want constant conflict. He wants peace. So he calls out to the Lord to give him peace. That's the first of these 15 Psalms. We'll look at number 121 tomorrow.